So we're back at the property and today we are going to be putting in the flooring. Can you guys believe that we are at a point where we're actually going to be installing floors? Like over a year ago, we bought this property. We have been working non-stop since we got it. We had to do all the cleaning and prepping and grading and landscaping and removing tons of outer buildings and so much more just to get this property to where we want it. Now we're also going to have a tiny home on wheels on this property, but we're focusing on the dome right now because we need some income, guys. It's been over a year. We've been out here in the mountains just working our butts off, and we are ready to start receiving some kind of benefit. So we are trying to get this dome on Airbnb for the winter season. That is only in another month, but today we're doing floors. I'm so excited to show you guys the floors. We chose this really light, really warm, but also some cool tones to this wood. It is a vinyl plank, of course, and I cannot wait to show you guys. It's gonna look so gorgeous in here. We didn't want to do something so dark in the dome. The insulation kit have already tend to bring that light and airiness that was in the dome down. We still have our portholes, we still have our skylight open, and of course we have this gorgeous panoramic window. So we want to make sure we have something on the floor that the light can bounce off of and disperse that light back into the room. So this is some high traffic vinyl plank flooring. It is wide planking, which I really love the look of it because it tends to look like real wood. Once you put it on the floor, it tends to give you that kind of barn-like feel. The dome is going to have a mixture of materials and different styles. We just know that this flooring is going to pull everything together. So Eric has already unboxed a few of them. That's going to be really interesting to see what is inside of the box, because most of the time you go to Home Depot or Lowe's or the flooring store and there's only one on display. We were able to bring this one home with us, and we kept saying we just hope that this is not the darkest part of it because we don't want it to be too light. So with seeing what comes out of the box, that is going to give us a better idea of how the flooring is going to look. And already I love the first one out of the box. It's a little lighter, but it also have those darker veins in it. I think that is going to really allow the room to be light and airy, and then we can use our accent colors to kind of darken things up. When we did the subflooring for the dome, we realized how many cuts and edges and twists and turns this thing have. With it being kind of a circular motion, but also having very sharp and pointy edges, it was so difficult to cut the pieces to do the subflooring. So we're hoping that the flooring does not drive us as crazy. If so, Eric does have this little tool I think he got a few Christmases ago that kind of marks out the shape of the corner you're working with. So hopefully that tool works out for us. I don't think it's going to be that hard because at least with vinyl planking, all you need is kind of a sharp utility knife and you can cut this thing and kind of just snap it. So at least there's not going to be a lot of taking it outside and cutting it. I think we're going to get this done pretty fast. Eric is already trying to lay out a pattern that we're going to use on the floor. Of course, we're going to want to do a staggered pattern and just get everything kind of laid out a little bit just to make sure that we are doing it in a pattern that we're going to like. We're doing our first corner cut.
Jeez.
Ooh. I banged it up real good. Guys, this thing has already caught Eric in the nose. Perfect.
Take a little bit off. You got any pliers in my bucket?
The one thing about vinyl floors is they're so quick and easy to install, especially this life-proof one. It is very wide planks. I find the connector parts or the hook and groove parts very easy to work with. They're very thick. The entire plank is very thick. That's why we didn't need any additional liners or anything underneath it to thicken it up or anything like that. This is a really good quality flooring, and I'm glad we chose this one because it goes together very nicely. I think we've only been down here for, I'm sure, less than 30 minutes, maybe about 20 minutes, and we have quite a big section done so far. And this is with us kind of stopping and taking a little break to look at it every now and again and just make sure that we are okay with the color. Not that we have a choice, but we love it. You just want to make sure you start at a point to where you have the direction you want to go in. For instance, for us, we wanted this to kind of go in the direction from the bed or the headboard, which is going to be in this area, towards the window, just to kind of give it the illusion that it's a little longer in this area. And so once we figured out where we wanted to start and make sure that it's going to lay in that area the way you want it to, the rest of it is pretty much just making sure everything lines up, everything gets locked in tight. You can play around with it by using your scrap pieces just to make sure that you get every piece used, because it snaps together almost so tightly that you can't see most of the seams. So you just want to keep going. We started off wanting to keep with a certain pattern, and that's really not necessary when you're doing vinyl planking, because like I said, the seams are almost seamless. and you just want to make sure they're staggered a little bit, because I believe if we did have all the seams in the same place, you would be able to see them a little bit more. So by doing this, you can use your scrap pieces. For instance, we're starting with that little one over there on the edge. It's pretty self-explanatory. So this is one of our first very weird angles we're going to have to cut, and judging from how easy the rest of it was able to be cut and broken, I don't think it's going to be really hard. And I think Eric did it the smart way by cutting all the way across first and then going back and cutting that little angle, because he can always break it off with his pliers. This is looking so good. We are moving a lot faster than I think we both expected. We were thinking we were only going to do half of the room today, just because we had other projects planned. So really excited. Can't wait to make it to the bathroom section, because we already have our vanity in here, the toilet is in here, and we also have the shower pan at least in here. So we can definitely get the bathroom flooring in today, and that is going to really blow my mind, guys, because this is the point I've been waiting for. If you guys have not subscribed to the channel yet, this is a perfect time to do so, guys. We are literally getting into building out this dome and decorating the dome and getting this thing on Airbnb. We can't wait to share with you guys just how we did, if everything paid off, if we're, making the money we expected to make. And we want to share all that information with you guys. So go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure you're up to date for when this thing goes live on Airbnb. Before we got done doing all of the flooring, I wanted to find a way to bless our dome and also just share some of my favorite scriptures with our guests, unbeknownst to them. But this one is from Psalms 4, verse 8. It says, "In peace I will lie down and sleep, for you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety." And I just love that scripture, especially for the dome, because we want all of our guests to lie down in peace and also to be safe and to just be comfortable in the dome. So I've shared a couple scriptures along the floors and the walls. Of course, they will all be covered up, but I just thought that was a little personal touch that I know is going to keep me at ease. This one is from Matthew 11, verse 28. It says, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." And so I'm really choosing the verses that have a lot to do with good rest and being peaceful and just for safety, because those are definitely the things that the world needs now. And also when you're on vacation, those are all the things that you're looking forward to. So I just pray that it comforts someone and they really truly get to rest and unwind and unplug when they're out here in the mountains. This flooring project have been moving so quickly today. We are already in the bathroom, and the bathroom isn't that big, so this is going to go pretty quickly. It's perfect. Awesome job, babe. So I got my scripture for the bathroom, and I love this scripture. This is from Psalms 51 verse 2. It says, "Wash me thoroughly from mine iniquity and cleanse me from my sin." And this is one of the verses of the Bible that fits for the actual bathroom. So although it's going to be hidden, in my heart I know that it's here, and I know it's going to help someone that comes into this bathroom. Everything went by so smoothly and quickly, and now we're backed up into a corner, literally, But Eric did really good with the other side, so hopefully we get through this portion quickly. But as you guys can tell, this is pretty much going to be a lot of different cuts, small pieces thrown in between. We're really going to try and get as much full boards as we can in here. So we're actually doing the jagged cuts to make sure that we can get as much full boards. But we don't have that much left. After we're done with this section, we're pretty much done until trimming. And once we get our cabinets and everything inserted, we'll do the kitchen portion, because we're pretty much only going to have to floor up to the cabinets. And so there's only going to need to be probably another row or two in this section. Other than that, we're going to be pretty much done. There you go. Cut the wrong piece. You'll be fine. We'll use it somewhere. That's what happens when you have all these angles. You forget which angle you're cutting. Yeah, I was not excited for the corners because it took a lot of brain power and just looking, figuring, you think that's going to work before we actually cut into it and destroy it. But for the most part, even if you make a mistake and cut something a little off, you can always either fix that or move on to another plank and use that plank somewhere else. We've been able to cut off all the edges of this kind of jagged point and use them in other rows. So nothing's really scrap until you're done. Even I've been trying to pick up the small pieces off the floor and take them out, and Eric's like, no, I might use it. We'll just throw them out towards the end. You'll be surprised the small little weird cuts you'll have, especially in the dome. Maybe in a regular house where it's square, you wouldn't have that much leftover and waste. But with the dome, you're pretty much going to definitely have these weird cuts that you have to do. Perfect.
You know that box you just opened?
You want the box?
Mm-hmm.
In case you're wondering, we were just using the box to prevent the mallet from messing up the insulation kit. For some reason, there's a black rub off on the end of the mallet, so we've been putting that just in front of the insulation kit so it does not get messed up. Kind of have less than one row to go. It's just going to be that area where everything is going to need a cut. So once we're done with that, we're going to be done with the floors until we get the kitchen cabinets in, and we'll do that right section. This one is one of my ultimate favorite verses, and it is from Deuteronomy 3:18. The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. And so that is my prayer for everyone that enters into this door. This is actually our last corner piece to cut, and then we're going to be done with the floors until we get the kitchen cabinets in. And I just realized that we actually won't have much to do after the kitchen cabinets get laid, because we're only going to have basically a sliver, like half of the actual plank left to fill in to meet the cabinets. And we do want to wait until we get the cabinets in, just so we make sure that it's going to be snug and that we're really going to be able to caulk and seal it into the cabinets correctly. It's in there. We're having trim, so it's going to be fine. That was a very awkward cut for Eric to do, and of course we wanted to use a scrap piece. Never mind, it does not look like the prettiest cut, but we're going to have trim all in there. We still have to build our wall along this side here, so all the edges are going to get cut. The most important thing is the fact that we are done with the flooring. The only thing left we have to do is basically from here to this line is where we measured out our cabinets to come. But we definitely want to wait and make sure we got the cabinets in, just so we can make sure we are correct with our measurements and we can seal this into the actual cabinetry and make it all look nice. So we're getting ready to do our baseboards, and as you guys can tell, because it is a dome, it does not have a lot of places to attach anything. So Eric went around and kind of put these scrap pieces of board, you'll see them sandwiched in between in these 3 spots, and that is so we can have something to screw our baseboard into. This entire project has been such a challenge for us in our building skills, because we had to make a way out of no way in some instances. Where we have the shiplap, there's like a scrap piece of trim from the door underneath just to kind of be a filler to attach the baseboard and make sure it all lines up with the shiplap. So there's a lot of just play by ear pieces in this dome build that there's no right or wrong reason to do it, guys. So if you are in the process of building either a tiny home or specifically a dome, you're gonna have to use some of these kind of unconventional ways to build that you probably wouldn't have think about before. But because we have no other choice in this matter, we kind of have to just figure out how to get things done.
Probably like that, right?
So how are you going to do the transition from the big one to the little one? Are you going to try and cut it down at an angle,
It's
or?
gonna come out at the 4 and then go down, slant down, and get slanted out to like here.
I think that will look good. I just didn't know how you were going to do the transition. Once we get there, you know, we'll just see what it looks like, but I trust you. There's not much we could have done.
No point in sticking it like this, and if
No.
you do, then you still have to put backer behind it. So
Yeah.
and when you look down, it's gonna look stupid. So I
Okay.
think like this, you can still
Yeah, and then
easily.
once all that's painted white, it'll look decent, and it'll have that little lip that everything else has going on anyway. So I think that'll be good. All right, guys, as we plan out this entire baseboard situation, we are coming into more sections where we're going to have to modify. As you can tell, on this side, the insulation kit basically meets the baseboard, and where it doesn't have any insulation, it's going to probably look a little silly and also just create a place for things to fall and dust to collect. So we're going to transition into a smaller kind of scrap piece of baseboard in front of the entire window section until we make our way all the way around and we get back to the insulation again. I pray it looks as good as we envision it in our minds, but everything has been going so awesome here that I can't see it not working out. Perfect. Now I'm going to show you how good Eric is with his cuts. Just look how clean that actually lines up. And so here you can see we are nailing straight into those filler boards that we put behind there. All right, guys, we have the entire front section of the baseboard done. We're still going to have to do the bathroom portion, but that just made this entire room look so much more just finished and just focused. Like, I just really love the contrast of the white with the insulation kit, that nice cool gray. And the good thing about it is the baseboard is not even painted. I did go around and putty all of the pinholes so far, but we're still gonna have to go and caulk all of those joints and caulk it into the floor and just get everything real seamless. But it looks so good. I can't wait till we get all of this junk out of here too. We have a lot of tools and unnecessary materials in here since we have finished a lot of the build already. So just the finishing touches and paint is really going to take this baseboard from what it looks like now into what it really and truly could be.